two people mentioned to me that in the press conference last Friday that Cardinal Fernandez he sweared here, or he was using swear words. Now I had listened to the press conference and I said I don't remember any swear words, and I speak Italian. I lived in Italy, fluent in Italian, and I listened to the conference and I thought it was pretty good, and the questions were good, and I didn't hear any swear words. And then they set me on the word that he used, le cazzate. He was kind of in explaining a situation, between somebody who's a visionary and then their personal life, that that God can use them, but they can still not be living in sanctifying grace. He was just responding to a question. I thought he responded well. Personally, I thought, I thought the whole press conferences were very well done, because he had a team of people there, and he had another priest, and all the questions could be asked. Diane Montagna even asked about UFOs, which made a headline in itself. But look, you can't fault the man for allowing a press conference, allowing the questions, allowing the discussion. I thought it was pretty good. But I just wanted to go back to le cazzate, che cazzo. In Italian, when you mess up, we used to say lui ha fatto una cazzata. He messed up. Now in English, you can translate it messed up, or you could translate it in a very vulgar way. I'm just saying. Now, if I was translating this, I would say he messed up. In Italian, and I have the Italian. This is the book. And I had to, because when I googled it in English, I said, yeah, I can see how people would interpret it in a very vulgar way, but it does, a mess up, a stupid action, una azione stupida, a stupid action, what a mess up, Now, in English, you can translate it with a word that begins with F. And it would sound extremely vulgar in English. And you would never use that in a press conference, and a bishop wouldn't use it, or a priest wouldn't use it. Instantly, it would be noted as a very vulgar word. But in Italian, and I speak Italian, you hear it used all the time, che cazzo. And now, I don't remember somebody telling me, don't use that expression in this way. No, but I'm just saying it can be translated one way and it can be translated in the other. Like Louis, as I said, somebody messed up. Ha fatto una cazzata. He messed up. Now, that's how I would translate it in English. You could translate it into something very much vulgar in English, but I would generally go, he messed up. A kid. Che cazzo ha fatto? Like he. Now, if somebody speaks Italian better than me, and you are Italian, you might be saying, Robert, well, really, it can be used in a very vulgar way. Well, look, I apologize if I'm, if it is or it isn't. But as I said, it's ubiquitous in Italy. It's ubiquitous in Italy. Also, remember, Cardinal Fernandez isn't a native Italian speaker. So oftentimes when you're venturing into a new language, especially in the first number of years of you speaking the language, look, you're not going to make it perfect, and sometimes you make mistakes, and that's the way the language is. And sometimes, like in Spanish, you could say tonterías, when I see it, something like that. But I just wanted to put that in context here. And people were saying, oh, you're explaining or this. Look, we are on the verge of the way Catholics are going sometimes, especially traditional Catholics. We're on the verge of anything that Cardinal Fernandez says, we're going to lambast him for it. And we're going to actually find any crack in anything he does to bring him, to bring him down, really, to draw him down. And I just thought, when somebody does something well prepared, well thought out, well discussed, which the press conference was, let's face it. I mean, I'd love to hear what other people think, but I thought he did an introduction, he introduced the document, he explained it, he took questions, he explained it, and it's interesting to hear the perspective. And in reality, let's face it, what he was saying in the press conference, look, this document is reflecting what we were already doing, because in the past, bishops were coming to Rome saying, this is happening in my diocese, what should I do? And they would look for help. One thing, when I was re-listening to the interview, he did mention Our Lady of All Nations in Amsterdam and how they had ruled that it is not supernatural, and that the bishop had ruled that after talking to Rome. This is what Cardinal Fernandez said. But, if remember Our Lady of All Nations, it was the statue of Our Lady of All Nations in Akita that was weeping tears. Weeping tears that were analysed. The bishop got them analysed. They were human tears, so it was a real phenomenon. He had it all documented out, and he went to Rome and he met with Cardinal Ratzinger. And Cardinal Ratzinger said that the text, the warning, the what Our Lady was saying was the third secret of Fatima. This is what we already knew. This is what was being discussed, and we never heard Rome saying, no, that conversation never happened, and Cardinal Ratzinger never said that. And the message of Akita is very stark, about these times. So I just thought the press conference was very well laid out, very well thought out, very well presented. Now, I leave it up to people with far more knowledge than me and experts than me to discuss it. But, if you're going to criticize Cardinal Fernandez for, using a word that could be possibly translated into English in different ways, I would just say, the word you would say, well, and he's talking about a situation and say they messed up. That's how, if I was translating it live, I said, and if they're saying le cazzate, they're saying stupid things. That's how I would translate it, now, other people can translate it in different ways, and in English you can translate in different ways, but I just thought I'd give that perspectives if that's what you want. If people are asking my opinion, and I do speak Italian, how I perceived it, how I perceived the press conference, because I listened to it in its original Italian, I thought it was very well presented. For once it was well presented. They presented the document, they gave their reasonings, they took the questions. Some people were saying, is it not going to take, I thought the questions were very good. Is it, you're not taking power away from the bishops? And, they were saying, look, the bishops are going to continue doing what they're already doing today. It's only when they need support that they can come to Rome to get the support, They can come get the support, which they were already doing. This is what he said in the press conference. They are already doing this. So look, now the norms reflect what we were already doing in practice, and wider discernment. Look, it is what it is. But anyway, I just thought I'd respond to that, because people will be putting it and questioning it, and you want to know my opinion on what he said. If one sentence in a press conference, in a Q&A, that he doesn't pronounce well in a second language, I please don't. I wouldn't really judge him on that, to be honest. That was because then we are really nitpicking. We are really that, because I've fallen into that. You're there. I speak so many languages, and what isn't a swear word in one language is a swear word in another. For example, embarrassed, to translate embarrassed into another, embarazado, or people do. You come out in a press conference and said, I try saying I'm embarrassed in another languages, and you will instantly hear the laughing break out in the room, because it means pregnant in one language, it means embarrassed in another. And I'm just saying, you know, when you're learning languages, you need to tread carefully. And I do feel for anyone having to present in a press conference in a different language that that isn't their own. But I'm not going to lambast Cardinal Fernandez over one word in a press conference that lasted 1 hour 40 minutes. You know, I just thought it was well prepared. It showed preparation, and it was actually interesting to listen to, and it actually made sense. You know, so that's just my thoughts on it. Anyway, God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.